Right. Hopefully this will work a little bit better than my last attempt. So, screen share, desktop, that'll be fine. Off it goes. So, I would like to show you how the new version of the sequence generator works on Pebble. You probably already know to access the server you need to be on the university network, which means if you're outside you need to VPN in. And then to access Pebble you need to log in with your Ease username and password. Let's just find an experiment. This one will do. To access the sequence generator you click on the 3 lines at the start of the record in the list format. Then you end up with something that looks like this. So the first thing to notice is the samples field on the right. There's a line in there that says sample list above this line. Everything below that comes directly from the samples field in the Pebble experiment record, and everything above it, when you first get here, is automatically generated from the table. So for example, where you have wild type MSIP1, 3 replicates. At the top you have wild type MSIP1, 1, 2, and 3. This also inserts a wash if you're doing a proteomics type experiment, or a blank if you're doing metabolomics style experiment at the beginning and the end of the sequence. You can edit this, so if you want to put more washes in, you can do that. You can also regenerate it, which means all your edits are lost. We'll look at why you might want to do that in a minute. So, excuse my child. The operator field is your username, your university username. The lab folder is from the user's record, which they've chosen from a list of folders that are accessible to us on the data store. And their name is from their user folder and their UUN. The experiment type is from what they've selected, and the Pebble code is automatically generated. The acquisition date is the day that you're generating this sequence by default, but you could put, if you were going to run it tomorrow, you could put a different date in or whatever. The title is also taken from the Pebble record, the organism, and initially methods is the same as experiment type, which in most cases is fine. The first bunch of fields all go into generating the path to save the data to. So in the path there's the lab folder, the name, the date, the experiment type, and the Pebble code. And all of that is also in the CSV file name at the bottom, which you can change if you want, but that's what it is by default. Methods, if you're doing, this is probably relevant if you're doing metabolomics, you can put 2 different methods in here, for example, neg and pos, separated by a space, and redo your sample list, and it will automatically give you neg and pos for each sample right next to each other like that. If you take them out, I'll put maybe again over. And if there's only one there, then it doesn't put it there because you don't need to distinguish in the name. For actions, normally you don't need to do this, but if you had lyc and trypsin, you can do L space T and redo, and it will give you a block of L and a block of T, and they're appended. The L's and the T's are appended. You can use lyc and trypsin. Oops, trypsin. If you want to do that, that's fine. It doesn't make any difference. You can add a third one if you want. And you get a third block. Those blocks are maintained no matter what else you do. Those blocks are maintained. So, and they're sorted in alphabetical order, actually, when they're inserted into the table. But that's a different issue. Injection count. Okay, so that's all the things you can do up here. You can add bits and pieces, whatever you want. So that's the simple thing. Everything above this line is interpreted by the generate function in order to generate a table down here. So this table contains, this first line is to do with Excalibur, needing that there. Then there's the header row, and then we've got all of our samples. And anywhere where you've got a wash or a blank, it automatically puts G1, unless you've got, I think, in your experiment type, if it says something like lipid, part of your experiment type, then it'll be RA1, because that's where people put their blank for lipids. Well, the others are always in G1. And let's untick these for the minute. So you can see we've got RA1, RA2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then RB1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is valid for vials. If you're using plates, not vials, then you can tick that. That's automatically ticked if you're doing a proteomics experiment. And then it goes up to 12 before it goes into the next row. If you were near the end, say it was RH11 that you started at, then it will continue onto the next plate, GA1. And if GA1 isn't the next plate, then you can say blue, green, red, not red, green, blue is the order, and then it'll go into the blue plate next instead. Pop this back to RA1. Right. You can see there's 3 replicates together here. If you want to separate the replicates into blocks, then you click separate reps, and now all the replicate numbers 1 are here, replicate numbers 2 are here, but the order within each block is maintained. If you want to randomize the order within each block, you can check randomize, and this does not use the optimized bias minimizing script that I made elsewhere, because I haven't plumbed it into it yet. It's just random, so each time you hit it, it'll be different. And it doesn't actually work that well, I don't think, because this wash is jumping around, so something's going wrong there. Something to do with the sorting isn't quite right. Yeah. So if you did have fractions, T, redo that and generate. Then all the L's come first and all the T's come later. If you had 2 injections of each, then all the L's, all the T's, then all the L's and all the T's. So that's the way that works. And if you were to put T and then L still comes first because they get sorted in alphabetical order. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's put them here. So T is first in the sample list, but when you generate it, L comes first. So you can see the position is still correct for that sample. Oh yeah, that's quite an important thing. The automatic positioning assumes that this is the correct order of the samples in the plate. I think that's it. Oh yeah, methods. So this is Again, I didn't show that in the sequence, but if you had negative, positive as methods, you have here, let's get rid of these, simplify things a little. So we can pause and generate, then your file name has okay, I need to change that and put that into the file name, but your method is whatever you wrote there with Excalibur methods prepended, because that's where the core methods are stored. If you're not using one of those, then maybe whatever you're doing, we could work it in as a core method and everyone can use the same set of methods. Anyways, if you're not using one that's there, then you'll have to still edit this in Excel or somewhere else. Yeah, so in summary, a sequence of sample names is generated from the user sample table, and from this, a sequence table is generated. You can then download this. And you'll have to open it in Excel and save it, because there's something wrong with the format if you don't do that. I'm not quite sure what. I don't have Excel on this computer, so I'm going to open it with LibreOffice. Oh, I think I've done something wrong there. Let's try opening that again. Comma. Here we are. That's what I wanted. That's why I was confused. Right. So it looks something like this, which you're probably familiar with. The instrument method for washes is automatically set to washes. Blanks are not, because they're normally run as whatever method you're running. Names have a different number at the start. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in these other fields that are embedded into the raw files. So who did the acquisition, what the organism is, IgM mass spec as a thing, the lab user, the name of this experiment. So that's all there. So I hope that's easy enough, an easy enough explanation. I realize there's absolutely no documentation around this, but I hope it's clear enough what these things are supposed to do. And anyway, in most cases, the default settings will do just fine for IPs and stuff like that. So, and I hope that the audio is still working, because on the last time I tried this, it was awful. So what was the thing I had to fix? Oh yeah, we have to put the method onto the end of the file name when there are different methods used. I'll do that. And in the meantime, I hope that this works nicely for everyone. So I will stop sharing my screen and wave goodbye, goodbye, and I'll see you later.